Hello everyone, and welcome to the 10th and final video of Java Kickstart. And so in this episode we're going to do a project in which we're going to make a pretty much a university course student management system, in which point we're going to have the student name, the student IDs, as well as their grades, and then we'll have a base class of class student, and then we'll have the undergrad, graduate, and then subclasses, which we're going to use inheritance for. A recap from last video: we talked about exception handling, and we talked about the try and the catch method, try and catch that you can use, as well as the two most, in my opinion, most common exceptions that you're going to find. And so first thing I'm going to ask you to do is not make a new Java class. Instead, I want you to make a new package, and we're going to call this final project. Okay. And then in final project, I want you to make three classes: student, undergrad, undergrad, let's do undergrad, and then we'll say graduate. Okay, so those are the three that I want you to have. Okay, now in the student class, okay, our goal is to have a system in which you can remove, you can add new students, you can view all the students, search for a student by their ID, remove a student completely from the whole system, calculate an average grade. You can do a lot with this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the basis for that. And then, I hope that, you'll take that and you'll, like search for a student, or view all the students, or, make them list them out. And so how we're going to do this is, first things first. If you recall from our inheritance video, you'll know that to access something within the same folder, which is what I want to do, and I only want to access that in these three, you can do something called a protected. And there you go. And then protected string, no, let's do int ID, and then protected array, oops, we should not do it that way, int grades. And you don't have to initialize that for now. Okay, public student name, I want the following. And then this just means that the name is the big one. So it's this name, okay? So the name here is not this dot name. So this dot name means the name that is local to that class, okay? And then you want to do the same for all of them. There you go. Okay. And so now you have all of those initialized. Okay, so let's have a method, public void add grade. And then you're going to want, actually, let's do something else. Let's do something called an array list. An array list is similar to an array. It's just a bit of a more unpredictable, method. So an array is more, like you have like a certain amount of an array is more characterized by its size. Array list is pretty much open. So you'd also want to change this here to array list, integer. And this is the syntax for it. So it is a new topic, but it's an easy one, so you shouldn't have to worry about that too much. And then you just have the dot add grade, so that's nice and easy. You also have the dot remove if you need it, grades dot remove, and then you have you have a lot, so you can look through those. I trust that at this point you know what you're doing. And yeah, okay, so there you go. Let's add a grade. Let's go public double calculate average. I'm actually going to leave that blank, and I'm going to just return 0. but you should be able to calculate the average, either y1 using a for loop or a while loop. Or 2, you can do it the long way if you really want to, but I'm going to leave that up to you. I will be posting the solutions in a later video, but for now, this is what I'm going to keep it as, just so that you can try and, get it yourself. So again, public string get name, return name, and then public int get ID. So again, we talked about the getters and the setters. And then let's also just have one more, public void change ID, int ID, and then this.id equals the new ID. Okay, that's all we need for the student class. Again, this you need to complete yourself, so complete yourself. Okay, let's go to the graduate. Actually, start undergrad. Okay, so first things, we are obviously going to want this. We're going to need the name. We're going to need an ID. We're also going to need the grade. So an undergraduate student is still a student. So we're going to go extends student. And then easiest way to do this is just create a constructor with the same thing. So this would give us a null pointer exception for sure, because you're just giving, pretty much nothing. So you would want to introduce a scanner class. So scanner, sure. And then you would not want that. And so you would want to have, for example, do under. So once you have that scanner, you would be able to, actually no, leave that, ignore what I just said there. So leave it at that. The only difference I would say with an undergraduate student, there shouldn't be too much of a difference. However, for example, you can change the way that their grade is calculated. So you can do public, believe we had it as a double calculate average, and then calculate it however you want there. So you can instead take an average and then remove the worst grade. So take average without worst grade. Okay. And then let's do one more. So graduate, same thing, extends student, and then student. Let's fix that again. Here we go. There we go. Okay. And then this one you can leave the same if you want. Again, if you want to, get creative with it, that's up to you. It's your project, not mine. And so let's make one more, and let's call it the student manager. And then in this one, I want you to have a private array list students, and then type students. Perfect. And then let's do a public void. Actually, first let's declare the main method, and then let's do public void add student. And then just as we learned before, you can have student, you can do a data type of type student, and then you're gonna want students.add that, and then student public void remove students.remove. And then I'm going to tell you to do this one, void print all students. This one is on you, so I think you'll be able to do that quite well. And yeah, you should be able to do that. So now back into the main method, you're going to want to declare scanner, and then you're going to want to declare a new student manager, and then you're just really calling yourself. So you could do this if you're having it in a separate one, but this is not necessary. So once you have that, you can loop through the menu there. And so you can really do whatever you want. And so that, for example, you can do system.out.print, enter the number of, actually just enter the name of a student, and then, there you go, get an input. I'm actually just going to put it as next. It's usually better. And then system.out.print, enter the sure, let's just leave it at that for me. And then I'm going to system.out.print. Oops. We need to add that actually. So it should be, to add a student, we need to make a few things. So system.out.print, enter the ID of the student, and then there you go. And then system.out.print, enter the, we had grade of a student, and then there you go. And that should be an array list. So yeah, we'll just leave it at that for now. And then you're gonna want student s equals new student, and then you're gonna want all of the information, so ID and then grade. It's obviously gonna give you an error because it's expecting an array list. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna let you to fix that problem. I think you have the capability at this point to be able to do that. And then you're gonna want to do add student. It's not gonna let you do that too easily. And then yes, there we go. And then yeah, you should be able to print all the students. And yeah, I'm gonna let you do the rest. I think also all of these have to be static. Sorry, I shouldn't. That should not be static. Actually, just you should be able to get this from here. So I believe you have made it, far enough to be able to do, the rest on your own. Yeah, just big thank you for watching all of the videos. Again, I'm going to post the solution to this in a later video, and I'm going to go by line. And so I'm going to leave this, open for you to try and figure it out. I gave you the stepping stone, and I think you can do it from there. And so yeah, thank you for watching all of, the series, and yeah, we'll see you with the solution, I guess. So thank you.